Hey guys, welcome back, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about an NFL draft prospect that has been gaining quite a bit of buzz lately, and that is Iowa edge rusher Lukas Ness. If you guys are new to the channel, I have done prospect spotlights on both Will Levis and Jalen Carter, so be sure to check those ones out. Before we take a closer look, be sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, ring that notification bell, and leave a comment and let me know who you guys want to see me do next. I'm having a ton of fun with this series and would love your feedback on players you want to see me do a deep dive into. But without further ado, let's get into it. Lukas Ness is a very intriguing prospect. Just a few weeks ago, he was viewed as a second to third round talent. Over the past couple of weeks, however, Ness has been flying up draft boards and being mocked to go somewhere inside round 1, and some have even mocked him inside the top 10. What changed all of a sudden that is making Ness fly up boards? He had a pretty solid season at Iowa, posting 7 sacks, 9 quarterback hits, 29 quarterback pressures, and 14 solo tackles. Overall, he had really solid numbers on the season on an Iowa team that was very reliant on their defense all season long because their offense couldn't generate any points. There is a lot to like about him as a prospect. For one, he has a very unique mix of strength and speed. He is able to use that speed to generate power and can really use that to his advantage when trying to shed blockers. He's able to generate great bursts off the line of scrimmage and use that speed, generate power, and it makes him very tough to stop. He's very flexible and can move his body in very unique ways to get to the quarterback and has incredible strength. He can move blockers relatively easy, and once he gets past that first line of blocking, he is full speed ahead. He also has a very nice build for a prototypical edge rusher in the NFL, standing at 6'5", 265 pounds. Another thing he has going for him is his age. He is 21 years old and still has tons of potential and really hasn't even tapped all of that potential in my opinion. I think he could be a dominant edge rusher in the NFL for a very long time if he falls into the right situation. His speed, his strength, his power, it makes him really tough to stop, and I think teams are really falling in love with that. You want an edge rusher that can jump off the line quick and get to the quarterback quickly, and Ness has those tools and things you would look for in a guy. While age might be a benefit to drafting Ness because he's still young, he's still moldable, and you can kind of train him to play the game the right way, it could also be viewed as a negative, because he might be viewed as inexperienced. Ness was a redshirt sophomore last season who never started a game for the Hawkeyes. He was still used heavily in rotation for the Hawkeyes, but never came out and started for the team. He's only played 2 seasons at the collegiate level and is pretty raw. To me personally, I don't really see that as a negative. I see that more as a positive because he's moldable and NFL teams can help his development and train him in the way they want him to be, but some teams may not want to take a risk on taking a project player so high in the draft. Another area that I think Ness could use some improvement on is improving his pass rush repertoire. By that I mean he needs to add some more moves. He doesn't have a lot of great moves. He doesn't have like a big swim move or a spin move. None of those sorts of moves. He needs to generate some more of those that he can add into his back pocket, into his tool belt if you will, that will make him even tougher to stop at the next level. Right now I feel he's too reliant on his speed and hands to get away from the defender, but at the next level he may need to create some different moves, different ways to get past that first block. The last thing I think could be viewed as a weakness, and is a weakness for Ness, is his run defense. He can really improve in the run game department. He has trouble with block recognition in the run game, and I could see that being a massive problem. If you're going to be drafting a guy very high in the draft, you want a guy who can guard the run and rush the passer. Ness is an okay run defender, but it's definitely an area that I think he needs to improve on if he is going to be a dominant player at the next level. Iowa runs a 4-3 defense, and I think at the next level, that is where Ness is going to thrive. Playing as an edge rusher in a 4-3 defense I think is where he fits best on the field. That's where I think his strengths lie. I think that's where he will fit best, but I think he's very scheme versatile. You could put him in any scheme, I think he would be successful, but if you want to maximize his abilities, I think a 4-3 defense is the right scheme to do that. I know everyone laughs when you get a white prospect because they're always compared to another white player. I know, happens all the time, and I'm going to do it anyways. Lukas Van Ness reminds me a lot of Cincinnati Bengals edge rusher Trey Hendrickson. Both are extremely powerful off the line and have many of the same tools, build. Everything is very similar across the two players, and I could see him having a very similar career to Trey Hendrickson, who's a fantastic edge rusher for the Bengals. I also see light Aiden Hutchinson vibes. I know I don't think he's going to be as good as Aiden Hutchinson was his rookie season, but I can kind of see similarities in their games. I think overall, Van Ness is a very interesting prospect, and you can see why he's flying up boards. A rare mix of physical tools and his youth. I think the youth thing, teams love young guys that they can develop, and looking at it and seeing where he's going now, I think he's going to wow teams at the combine, and I think when it's all said and done, Lukas Van Ness will be a first-round pick in the 2023 NFL Draft.